If you grew up in Britain in the 1970s, your tea was not avocado toast or a Buddha bowl. It was something beige, something boiled, and something your mother swore was good for you. These are the dinners that shaped a generation. Meals built from tins, packet mixes, and whatever the co-op had left on the shelf by Thursday. Some were brilliant, some were baffling, and some would get social services called today. Number 18 on this list was served in nearly every school canteen in Britain, but no child has ever admitted to enjoying it. And number 7 involved a kitchen appliance that terrified an entire generation. Before we start, hit subscribe. This list is about to unlock memories you have been suppressing for 50 years. Let us count them down. Number 25. Toast toppers on sliced white. Heinz toast toppers on white toast. When Heinz launched toast toppers in 1974, mothers across Britain breathed a sigh of relief. A tin of savory mush, heated in a saucepan for 3 minutes, spooned over a slice of toast, and tea was sorted. Mushroom and bacon, chicken and mushroom, ham and cheese, each one a shade of beige that defied nature. The consistency sat somewhere between wallpaper paste and baby food, but children ate it without complaint because it came from a tin, and tins meant modern. Your mum would lay 2 slices of thick white sun-blessed on a plate, pour the steaming gloop on top, and call it a balanced meal. The mushroom and bacon flavor had a devoted following in the Midlands. Some families went through 3 tins a week. At around 15 pence a tin, it was cheaper than cooking, and faster than waiting for Dad to bring chips home. Toast toppers vanished from shelves in the early 2000s, and the outcry was real. Petitions were signed, letters were written to Heinz, but the damage was done. A generation lost its easiest tea. Number 24. Smash with everything. Cadbury's Smash arrived in 1968, and by the mid-1970s, it had conquered the British kitchen. Instant mashed potato made from dried flakes, reconstituted with boiling water and a knob of margarine. The television adverts featuring laughing Martians mocking humans for peeling actual potatoes became legendary. Mothers took the message to heart. Smash appeared beside sausages, beside fish fingers, beside things it had no business accompanying. The texture was unnervingly smooth, almost elastic, nothing like real mash. But it was ready in 90 seconds. Children built volcanoes with it, filling the crater with gravy and watching it overflow. Fathers pretended not to notice it was not real. A packet cost about 12 pence and served 4 people. By 1975, Smash outsold fresh potatoes in some parts of the country. That statistic tells you everything about what was happening to British food. Number 23. Spam fritters. If there was one dish that captured the spirit of the 1970s, in school dinners and at home, it was the spam fritter. Slices of tinned processed meat, dipped in batter, and deep-fried until golden and blistered. The outside shattered when you bit through it. The inside was warm, salty, and impossibly pink. Spam arrived during the war as an American import, but by the 1970s it had been fully naturalized, sitting in every kitchen cupboard like a sturdy relative who refused to leave. Mothers fried them on weeknights when inspiration ran dry. School cooks served them with chips and baked beans as if presenting a banquet. A tin cost around 25 pence and yielded 6 fritters, enough for the whole family if you bulked it out with bread and butter. The smell of spam hitting hot oil was unmistakable. Neighbors knew what you were having. Children who claimed they hated spam fritters are lying. Everyone went back for seconds. Number 22. Angel Delight for pudding. Technically not a dinner, but no 1970s tea was complete without it. Angel Delight arrived in 1967, and by the mid-70s it ruled every kitchen in the country. You whisked the powder into cold milk for exactly 2 minutes, poured it into glass dishes, and refrigerated it until it set into a wobbling pastel mousse. Butterscotch was the undisputed champion. Strawberry had its loyalists. The texture was unlike anything found in nature, too thick for cream, too light for custard, hovering somewhere in the uncanny valley of puddings. Mothers loved it because it required no cooking. Children loved it because it was pink and sweet. A packet cost 8 pence and served 4, making it the cheapest pudding in British history. It has never gone away, but eating it now feels like opening a time capsule with a spoon. Number 21. Findus crispy pancakes. They were the jewel of the 1970s freezer, a half-moon-shaped parcel of bread-crumbed batter filled with either minced beef, cheese and ham, or chicken and sweet corn. You grilled them for 12 minutes, turning once, and they emerged golden, crunchy, and liable to scald the roof of your mouth with molten filling. The cheese and ham variety could reach temperatures normally associated with volcanic activity. Children learned quickly to let them cool, but impatience won every time. Mothers kept a box of 6 in the freezer as emergency rations for nights when cooking felt impossible. At around 40 pence a box, they were a luxury by the standards of the 1970s, reserved for Friday teas or school holidays. The crispy pancake occupied a strange space between proper food and snack. Too substantial for a starter, too small for a main unless you had 3. But nobody cared about the logic. They were crispy, they were hot, and they were ready in 12 minutes. That was enough. Number 20. Liver and bacon with onion gravy. Every child from the 1970s can recall the exact moment their mother placed a slab of lamb's liver on their plate and expected them to eat it. The liver was fried fast in a hot pan, ideally still pink in the middle, though many mothers cooked it to the consistency of shoe leather out of fear. Rashers of bacon draped over the top, and a thick onion gravy made from Bisto granules covered the lot. The smell was intense, metallic, and deeply divisive. Fathers ate it with enthusiasm. Mothers claimed it was full of iron. Children pushed it around the plate for 40 minutes until the threat of no pudding forced compliance. A pound of liver cost about 30 pence in 1975, making it one of the cheapest cuts available. It appeared on weekly menus with the regularity of a dental appointment and roughly the same level of enthusiasm. Number 19. Rise and Shine with Vesta Chow Mein. The Vesta range of dried, ready meals hit British kitchens like a flavor bomb from another planet. Vesta Chow Mein, Vesta Beef Curry, and Vesta Paella each came in a cardboard box containing sachets of dried noodles, powdered sauce, and a crispy fried noodle topping. You added water, heated it on the hob for 15 minutes, and served something that bore no resemblance whatsoever to Chinese, Indian, or Spanish food. The chow mein was the best seller. The crispy topping was the star. Children ate the topping straight from the packet while their mothers' backs were turned. A box cost about 30 pence and fed 2 adults or 1 hungry teenager. Vesta meals represented exoticism in a decade when most British families had never set foot in a restaurant. They were the gateway to a wider world of flavor, even if that world was entirely fictional. By 1979, Vesta sold over 30 million meals a year. We thought we were cosmopolitan. We were eating rehydrated powder. Number 18. Semolina pudding. School canteens across Britain served semolina with the grim determination of an occupying army. A pale, grainy slurry was ladled into shallow bowls, sometimes with a blob of jam sinking slowly into the center like a distress signal. The texture was the problem. Too thick to drink, too thin to chew, occupying a category of food that had no right to exist. Dinner ladies slopped it out with practiced indifference, while children stared at the grey, wobbling mass and wondered what they had done to deserve this. A dollop of strawberry jam was the only hope of rescue, turning each spoonful into a swirl of pink and white that at least looked cheerful even if it tasted of nothing. At home, mothers made it slightly better with extra sugar and a scrape of nutmeg. But the school version haunted an entire generation. Semolina cost pennies to make, which was precisely the point. It filled stomachs, met nutritional guidelines on paper, and required no skill whatsoever. It was fuel, not food, and every child knew the difference. Number 17. Fish fingers, chips, and peas. The holy trinity of childhood in the 1970s. Bird's eye fish fingers appeared on tea tables across Britain with a frequency that bordered on religious observance. 4 fish fingers were arranged on the plate like fallen soldiers, beside a mound of oven chips and a spoonful of tinned marrow-fat peas. No seasoning, no garnish, no apology. This was Tuesday night. The fish finger was invented in 1955, but it reached peak dominance in the 1970s when freezer ownership exploded. By 1975, the average British family consumed over 900 fish fingers a year. Children ate them with ketchup, with salad cream, with bare hands in front of the television if parents were not watching. A box of 10 cost around 28 pence. Mothers could feed 3 children in 20 minutes with zero preparation. It was not cooking. It was logistics. And it worked. Number 16. Corned beef hash. The corned beef tin was the most dangerous object in the 1970s kitchen. That jagged key that peeled back the metal lid sent more adults to casualty than any power tool. But once opened, the dense pink block of pressed beef became the foundation of a dozen midweek teas. Sliced and fried with onions and leftover boiled potatoes, it became hash. Served with pickled beetroot, HP sauce, and 2 slices of white bread, it was a meal that cost under 30 pence and took 15 minutes. Some mothers made it crispy on the bottom, a golden crust that children fought over. Others kept it soft, almost stew-like, served in bowls with a fork. Either way, the taste was unmistakable. Salty, beefy, faintly metallic from the tin. Corned beef hash was honest food. It never pretended to be anything more than what it was. And in a decade of strikes, power cuts, and 3-day weeks, honest food was exactly what families needed. Number 15. Alphabeti spaghetti on toast. Before children learned to read from books, they learned from their tea. Heinz Alphabeti spaghetti, tiny pasta letters swimming in thin tomato sauce, served on buttered toast. Children spelled rude words on their plates, while mothers pretended not to notice. A tin cost about 12 pence and served 2 people, making it the default emergency tea across the country. The sauce was thinner than regular spaghetti hoops, almost watery. Staining everything it touched a permanent orange. Toast had to be thick and well buttered to survive the soaking. Some children ate the letters in alphabetical order. Others searched for their initials before eating anything else. The ritual mattered more than the flavor. Alphabeti spaghetti was not about nutrition. It was about play, about comfort, about a warm plate on a dark evening when the central heating had broken down again. Number 14. Frey Bentos pie. The Frey Bentos steak and kidney pie occupied a unique position in 1970s cuisine. It arrived in a shallow tin, looking like nothing edible, and emerged from the oven 40 minutes later as a puffed golden dome of pastry covering a bubbling meat filling. The pastry was never quite right. Soggy on the bottom where it met the tin, overdone at the peak, and mysteriously absent at the sides. But nobody cared. The filling was rich, salty, and thick enough to hold a spoon upright. Served with chips and peas, it was a proper dinner that required no preparation beyond opening a tin and turning on the oven. A Frey Bentos pie cost about 35 pence and fed 2 adults. Mothers kept one in the cupboard at all times, the culinary equivalent of a fire extinguisher. In case of emergency, break out the Frey Bentos. Number 13. Faggots in gravy. Mr. Brain's faggots arrived in a foil tray, 4 dark, dense balls of minced offal sitting in a pool of thick, brown gravy. The word itself caused schoolchildren to collapse with laughter, but the dish was deadly serious. Made from pig's heart, liver, and belly mixed with breadcrumbs and wrapped in caul fat, faggots were the last remnant of a butchering tradition that wasted nothing. Mothers heated the tray in the oven for 30 minutes and served the faggots with mash and mushy peas. The gravy was the best part, rich and savory, soaking into the potatoes and turning the plate into a brown and green landscape. Children who refused the faggots still mopped up the gravy with bread. A tray cost around 25 pence. In the Midlands and the West, faggots were a point of fierce regional pride. Everywhere else, they were a curiosity. But in the 1970s, Mr. Brains sold millions, proof that offal had not yet become a dirty word. Number 12. Boil-in-the-bag cod in parsley sauce. The boil-in-the-bag revolution promised to change everything. You dropped a sealed plastic pouch into boiling water, waited 12 minutes, and out came a fillet of cod swimming in pale green parsley sauce. The fish was always slightly rubbery. The sauce was always slightly gritty. The whole thing slid onto the plate with the grace of something escaping from hospital. But mothers embraced it because it was fish. It was quick, and it counted as cooking if you squinted. A packet cost about 30 pence and served 1. Served with boiled potatoes and frozen peas, it was a midweek dinner that required no thought and no skill. The parsley sauce left a green tidewater mark on every plate it touched, and the smell of boiling plastic bags lingered in kitchens for hours. Number 11. Cheese and potato pie. In homes across the north, cheese and potato pie was the vegetarian dinner before vegetarianism existed. Not that anyone called it that. It was just cheap. Sliced potatoes, layered with onions and handfuls of grated cheddar, baked in a dish until the top blistered golden and the cheese pulled in long strings when you served it. Some mothers added a splash of milk to the dish before baking, creating a creamy sauce that pooled between the layers. Others kept it dry, letting the cheese do all the work. A whole pie cost less than 20 pence to make and fed 4 easily. Children loved it because it was essentially chips and cheese in a different shape. Fathers tolerated it on paydays when the butcher's money had already been spent. It appeared on tables every Thursday in some households with clockwork regularity. No recipe book recorded it. No television cook championed it. It simply existed, passed from mother to daughter like a survival skill. Number 10. Tinned spaghetti bolognese. Before Britain discovered actual Italian food, there was tinned spaghetti bolognese. Soft, overcooked pasta tubes in a sweet, orange-tinged meat sauce that bore no relation to anything served in Bologna. Heinz and Cross and Blackwell competed for shelf space, and mothers stocked both. Heated in a saucepan for 5 minutes and poured over toast or served with a jacket potato, it was Wednesday's dinner in a million homes. The meat content was a mystery best left unexamined. The sauce was closer to ketchup than ragu, but children ate it happily because it was warm, sweet, and familiar. A tin cost about 18 pence and served 2. Some mothers attempted homemade spag bowl using real mince and a jar of dolmio, which arrived in 1985 and changed everything. But through the 1970s, the tin ruled. Nobody questioned it. Nobody compared it to the real thing. We did not know there was a real thing. Number 9. Egg and chips. The simplest dinner in the British repertoire, and perhaps the most beloved. 2 fried eggs, cooked in an inch of oil until the whites crisped and the yolks stayed runny, served beside a pile of proper chip pan chips. Not oven chips, not frozen chips. Chips cut from actual potatoes, soaked in water, dried on a tea towel, and lowered into a pan of bubbling lard that lived permanently on the back of the hob. The chip pan was the most dangerous appliance in 1970s kitchens. It caused more house fires than any other single object. Public information films showed chip pans erupting in flames, while a calm voice explained how to smother the fire with a damp cloth. But nothing stopped families from using them, because proper chips demanded proper fat. Egg and chips cost almost nothing. It appeared when the shopping had run out, when payday was still 2 days away, when nobody could be bothered. And it was perfect every single time. Number 8. Liver sausage sandwiches. Liver sausage was the Marmite of the 1970s sandwich filling. A smooth, spreadable paste of processed liver that came in a plastic tube or a stubby tin. You squeezed or sliced it onto white bread, added a leaf of limp lettuce if you were feeling elaborate, and that was tea. The flavor was rich, earthy, and vaguely medicinal. Children were divided. Some ate it willingly. Others hid the sandwich behind the sofa and claimed they had finished. Liver sausage cost about 15 pence and lasted most of the week in the fridge. It appeared in packed lunches, on tea tables, and at buffets where it sat beside the cheese and pineapple hedgehog, looking faintly menacing. By the 1980s, it had been replaced by ham and turkey, but for a decade, liver sausage was a staple, and those who loved it never found a substitute. Number 7. Pressure cooker stew. The pressure cooker dominated 1970s kitchens with the authority of a small dictator. That heavy aluminium pot with the locking lid and the hissing valve sat on the hob, rattling and steaming while children gave it a wide berth, and mothers watched it like a bomb that might go off. Which it occasionally did. The valve would spit. The lid would shudder. Steam screamed from the top in a jet that could strip wallpaper. But inside, a miracle was happening. Cheap stewing steak, about 40 pence a pound, was being transformed into fork-tender meat in 45 minutes instead of 3 hours. Carrots and potatoes went in hard and came out soft. The gravy thickened itself. 1 pot, 1 burner, 1 terrified family. The pressure cooker saved fuel, saved time, and made the cheapest cuts taste like they had been cooked all day. Children feared it. Mothers trusted it. And when it finally came off the hob and the valve stopped screaming, the stew inside was always worth the anxiety. Number 6. Baked bean toasties. The Breville sandwich toaster arrived in British kitchens in the mid-1970s and immediately became the most used appliance in the house. 2 slices of buttered bread, a spoonful of baked beans, a slice of cheese. The lid clamped shut. 4 minutes, and done. The sealed, crimped edges trapped the filling at temperatures that could blister skin. The first bite was always dangerous. Molten beans and cheese erupted from the corner like a tiny orange geyser, while children yelped and mothers said they had warned them to wait. But nobody ever waited. A tin of beans cost 8 pence. Cheese was about 30 pence a block. You could feed 3 children in 12 minutes for less than the price of a bag of crisps. The Breville turned everything into a toasty. Leftover bolognese, tinned spaghetti, ham and tomato. But beans and cheese was the original, the classic, the one that sold 1 million sandwich toasters. Number 5. Pork luncheon meat with salad. In summer, when the kitchen was too hot for cooking, mothers reached for the tin of pork luncheon meat. It was sliced thick and laid on plates beside a scoop of Heinz potato salad, a quartered tomato, half a boiled egg, and a few leaves of round lettuce. It was a cold supper that required no effort and less enthusiasm. Luncheon meat was Spam's quieter cousin, smoother, blander, and packed in a larger tin. It cost 20 pence and served 4 if sliced thin enough. The taste was inoffensive. The texture was disturbingly uniform. But with enough Branston pickle on the side, it became acceptable. Children complained. Mothers reminded them that salad was healthy. Fathers ate in silence. The whole meal took 5 minutes to assemble and left nothing to wash up except the tin opener. Number 4. Mince and dumplings. A pound of beef mince, an onion, a tin of carrots, a handful of frozen peas, and an OXO cube. That was Wednesday tea for half the families in Britain. The mince browned in the pan while the onion softened. Then everything went into the pot with boiling water and that crumbled cube. The dumplings were made from self-raising flour and a Torah shredded suet, rolled into golf balls and dropped into the simmering stew for the last 20 minutes. They swelled to twice their size, heavy and doughy on the outside, light and steaming inside. A pound of mince cost about 35 pence. The suet cost 10 pence and lasted for weeks. For under 50 pence, a mother could fill every plate and have enough left for Dad's lunch the next day. The smell of mince and OXO was the smell of the 1970s itself. Warm, brown, and reassuringly plain. No herbs, no garlic. Certainly no wine. Just honest mince, honest dumplings, and a pot scraped clean. Number 3. Sausage, egg, and chips. If egg and chips was the weeknight emergency, sausage, egg, and chips was the celebration. 2 pork sausages from Walls or Richmond, fried until the skins split and browned, alongside the standard fried eggs and chip pan chips. Add a few baked beans, and you had what many children in the 1970s considered the finest meal in existence. Better than Christmas dinner. Better than birthday cake. It was served on a Friday in homes across the country, marking the end of the working week with a plate of fat, protein, and carbohydrates that modern nutritionists would weep over. Sausages cost about 25 pence for 8. The whole dinner came in under 40 pence and required nothing more than a frying pan, a chip pan, and a willingness to fill the kitchen with smoke. No child ever refused this meal. No child ever left anything on the plate. It was the closest the 1970s came to perfection. Beans on toast. The most democratic dinner in British history. Beans on toast crossed every class line, every regional boundary, and every generation. A tin of Heinz baked beans, heated in a saucepan until bubbling, poured over 2 slices of thick white toast spread with real butter. That was it. That was dinner. And it was magnificent. The sauce soaked into the bread, turning it soft and sweet underneath, while the top stayed crispy. Some people added grated cheese on top and stuck it under the grill. Others added a fried egg. Purists insisted on beans, toast, and nothing else. A tin cost 8 pence. A loaf cost 15 pence. This was a dinner that cost less than a phone call and tasted like home. In a decade when the lights went out during power cuts and the rubbish piled up during strikes, beans on toast was the constant. The meal that never let you down. It is still served today, and it still tastes exactly the same. Number 1. The chippy tea. Nothing from the 1970s carries more emotional weight than the Friday chippy tea. The queue out the door of the fish and chip shop, the hiss of the fryer, the sharp vinegar smell that hit you from 20 yards away. Cod and chips, or haddock if you were northern. Wrapped in newspaper, carried home warm under your arm, the grease soaking through until you could read the football results on the inside of the paper. Mothers did not cook on Fridays. Fathers walked to the chippy. Children sat at the kitchen table, plates out, salt ready, waiting. The fish was battered and golden, shattering into white flakes when you broke through the crust. The chips were fat, soft in the middle, crispy at the edges, nothing like the thin, pale things from the freezer. Mushy peas came in a separate tub. A pickled egg, if you were brave. A full fish supper cost about 50 pence in 1975. It fed one adult generously, and the leftovers were cold chips eaten from the paper at midnight. The chippy tea was not just dinner. It was the full stop at the end of the week. The reward for 5 days of school, 5 days of work, 5 days of endurance. When the newspaper wrapping was banned on hygiene grounds, something was lost that plain white paper could never replace. The warmth of the parcel, the headlines smudged with vinegar, the ritual of unwrapping layer by layer. That was the 1970s on a plate. If you remember even 5 of these, you lived it. Drop a comment telling me which one brings back the strongest memory. Was it the chip pan terror? The Breville burns? The Semolina nightmares? Share this with someone who survived 1970s tea times, and subscribe so you never miss a list. Your Nan would want you to.